Some other considerations when designing is consonants. There must be consonants across the applications. Unity among brand applications needs to be established to build the brand. So consonants is basically consistency among all the different products, right? And so as you can kind of see here with Starbucks, you know, they use a lot of different colors. However, one thing that's consistent is their logo is on there, right? And if we look closely, it looks like their font is pretty much the same, or at least, you know, they have different fonts on some of them, but I think there's a consistent of the same font throughout used, but then they also use some specific fonts for each product there. In terms of color, you could see some of the more coffee tasting and chocolate products all incorporate the brown. However, as you could kind of see with the vanilla latte over there, you know, they use a little lighter colored. But let's take a look at the two on the right. We have the chocolate mocha cafe latte and then the other vanilla latte. They're both the same overall design, just different colors used, right? So you can kind of see how that all works. If we look over to the left, you know, those chocolate and coffee kind of products kind of have a similar look as well. So that's an important thing, at least to have the logo the same on every product, and then things can kind of change up, but some things could be pretty similar. Typography is another consideration when designing. Appropriate to the brand's personality. Work with the existing fonts in the logo, signature, and stationery system. Appropriate in terms of meaning and voice. Consistent with the look and feel. And appropriately readable or legible. So as we could see, there was a redesign on the Sci-Fi Channel logo. And as we could see, the top one is the one from previously, right? That's probably been around since the 90s or so when that channel started. And as you can see, they incorporated looks like a Saturn planet, the planet with the ring around it. And then they spelled it sci-fi as you would for regular sci-fi. But now that channel has kind of evolved to where it's not just about space anymore, right? I mean, this could be about, they show stuff that's related to vampires and zombies and other futuristic things that might not necessarily have to do with space. And so I think one of the reasons why they decided to do a redesign and get rid of that symbol was for the fact that they don't want to just, they want you to just think about that this channel is all about space exploration or anything, right? They offer more content than that. Sci-fi too, using the Y instead. I don't know exactly what the reasoning behind that is. There would be a great article on that if they have one, to be able to find out their reasons for that. But you know, it could be just a little bit more of a humor to it, right? Because some of the shows and the content that they put on there is a bit humorous, so that maybe they're kind of trying to evoke that a little bit of comedy in their channel. Also, their font is a little bit more softer, a lot of curves and such. Maybe that means it's appealing to a wider audience. Maybe women are a bigger part of that audience, and so by having a little bit softer of a logo, it might be a little bit more attractive to them. Also with the purple color, maybe. So you could see how different of a feeling you get by looking at the both of them and seeing how different they are. And you know, typography plays such a big role in the overall look and feel of a company's brand. Designing applications for an existing brand. Any application solution must be consistent in look and feel with the existing brand identity. As you could kind of see with this food products, all their packaging, even though they make a lot of different types of food and a lot of different shapes of food, right? Still being able to be consistent in terms of their fonts, in terms of their overall design with the big solid square color, right? Even though it changes colors and the labels change because of the sizes of the products, you can still see some consistency, especially in the use of the shapes and everything. That is consistent, even though you're it's hard to be consistent with so many different types of shaped products and packages. They did a pretty good job with that. Designing applications for an existing brand. An example would be Awakening a Giant, which is done by the VSA partners in Chicago, and their client was IBM. As you could kind of see the consistency with these as well. A lot of black and white colors, kind of brings it back to more of a older kind of nostalgic kind of look. Designing a brand revitalization. Companies that have been around for a long time have always had these changes in their overall look, their logos throughout time, and Pepsi would be one of them. It says a brand revitalization, a major renewal and renovation of a brand identity and its position in the marketplace. If we look way back to the first logo, 1898, all the way up to 1940, that's a good 40 plus years of being just red and white. Around that same time was their main competition, Coca-Cola. What colors were they? They were red and white as well. So, they found out as more kind of research went into branding and advertising that they need to separate themselves somehow. So they added the blue into it. And you could see from the 50s, and as we got into the 1962, they changed their font too, right? Their typeface, so it's not so similar to the scripted Coca-Cola type of font, but now they used more of a contemporary sans serif, big, thick letters, all caps at that time to really scream at you. And that was pretty consistent from all the way up until 2003. And then, they made a little bit of more of a 3D kind of logo, but consistency in terms of their symbol is pretty similar. And then today, as you can kind of see, they've changed the symbol a little bit, maybe to look more like a smile. I don't really know exactly what it looks like, but also they don't have, for the today's logo, they don't have the text on there, but it's all lowercase. So after 2003, they decided to go all lowercase, and that leads me to believe that due to the internet being so big and everything going online, and when you type in URLs, they're all lowercase, that might have been their reasoning for choosing to go all lowercase now. Designing for a major merger. When two companies merge, they need a new identity to signify the newly merged corporation. So for instance, Citicorp and Travelers came together. So again, they used kind of the essence of both of them. Citi for the first one was what it's going to be called. So they used that text, and then they used the Travelers umbrella kind of as more of a shape, maybe not completely an umbrella, but merged those two together in a creative way to be able to bring the essence of both of those companies together as one. Design budgets. Not every branding assignment has an enormous budget, so sometimes you have to take what you can get and try to be creative in terms of pinching pennies, and maybe one color print, as you can see with this one. They're printing on a cardboard box just one color, or it looks like maybe two, sorry, but that's a lot cheaper than trying to print 4 or 5 different colors. So sometimes money plays a big part in your branding decisions. So in summary, a designer must exercise both good design sense as well as design sensibility. Use the brand strategy as your platform for designing. Through the design, establish the brand's proprietary voice. Own a look, voice, and spirit. Differentiate your brand from the competition. If a design is meaningful to the audience, your design has a much better shot at resonance. The look and feel is the broad impression created by the design. In order for an audience to recognize an individual brand application, there must be consonants across applications. For example, the use of fonts and colors. When designing an application for an existing brand, a solution must be consistent in look and feel with the existing identity. And any major renewal and renovation of a brand is considered a brand revitalization. When two companies merge, they need a new identity to signify the newly merged corporation.